Good morning. Now that we're done with the Australian Open, we shift our focus a little bit to the NFL playoffs and especially the conference championships. Yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers squared away in the NFC championships. Prior to this game, I really felt with the defense that 49ers have and the fact that their quarterback, Brock Purdy, who's been an amazing story, being the last person to be picked in the draft and riding on a 7-game winning streak. I did think that with his ability not to make mistakes would kind of keep the game close, and we would be witnessing a good NFC championships. But I think right from the start, Philadelphia scored first, thanks to a controversial call on a catch by Devontae Smith. Now that play, it didn't have to be challenged, but could have been looked at by the replay assistants and overturned. But anyway, once Philadelphia scored and Brock Purdy got knocked out with a right shoulder injury that also resulted in a fumble, 49ers options were pretty limited. With their fourth quarterback for the season, Johnson, they were not able to throw the ball. They became very one-dimensional. I think in the first half, 49ers defense kept them in the game. But as the game wore down, Philadelphia clearly proved to be the better team and ran away with an easy victory over the 49ers. A lot of questions for the 49ers on what they would do next year. Is Brock the answer for the future? But right now, the NFC representative in the Super Bowl are the Philadelphia Eagles, who were recently there 5 years ago. So I think they are the best team in the NFC. Actually, they did prove to be the best team in the NFL during the regular season. And let's see, how they match up in the Super Bowl. We'll do another preview of the Super Bowl before the game. In the second game, in the AFC Championship, the Cincinnati Bengals, who had a 3-0 record against Patrick Mahomes, faced Kansas City in Arrowhead. Again, this game, honestly, should have been played in the neutral floor, but the way it turned out to be, Kansas City ended up hosting the game against the Bengals. Burrow has been amazing for the Bengals over the past few weeks. The Bengals' offensive line and the defensive line have been pretty solid. But before the game, the Bengals were missing a couple of offensive linemen. But the Kansas City Chiefs also had their own share of injuries. Patrick Mahomes had a high ankle sprain, but he did look okay throwing the ball. And even the zip on his throws were pretty amazing. The way he was threading the needle in this one touchdown towards in the fourth quarter to Scantling. That was probably one of the best throws we saw all day yesterday between those two games. But again, it came down to a very last-minute field goal, but not before a lot of controversy where the refereeing became the story of the game. I do think that the game was amazing. The game was excellent, came down to the wire, but when the officiating becomes the story of the game, that doesn't bode well for a multi-billion-dollar industry like the NFL. It is a shame that the referees become the spotlight over what was to be an excellent game played by both sides. It should have never come down to that, but I think that's what is right now even trending on Twitter in terms of how officiating has become the centerpiece of a championship game. Now we know in other sports, tennis has completely, automated the line calls to the point where it's not a bone of contention between the players. And NFL, for being the richest sport in America, needs to look in the mirror and try to get like full-time officials and also have ability to review the calls as they happen quickly and make the right call and then make the right decision for the game. And that would actually help us witness a much better game than what we saw yesterday. Anyway, I think the Kansas City Chiefs did pull out the victory. Mahomes played well. Kelsey was, again, incredible. I don't know how he always gets open, but end of the day, it's Kansas City versus Eagles. And we will do a preview of the Super Bowl. But at this point, I'm leaning towards the Eagles based on the fact that they have their lines on both sides are really good. And I think their defense is better than the Kansas City defense. They're offensively, Eagles are much better. But we never know. And plus, we have to factor in Mahomes' injury. Hurts also has been hurt a little bit. So it's going to be a very interesting over the next few days on, how we land up in terms of injuries and injuries as well. So let's wait and see. We'll do a preview, but I think it was a very good game that was spoiled by officiating to me, especially in the second game yesterday. All right. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.